Good morning, everyone. It's the Shawn here, and I'm joined again by Anessa Santos, and we're digging back into the blockchain world. And specifically today, we wanted to talk about blockchain and what happens when people die. So, Anessa, why don't you frame up the issue? I mean, we've got a problem right now, right? When people are dying, we're having a lot of issues as lawyers and business people.
Well, that's putting it lightly and broadly.
Yes.
So yes. I think that what we wanted to talk about was how can we utilize blockchain to sort of digitize all of the information about us during our lives, right? So that we have one central encrypted point of access in order to be able to manage the information and data about somebody that's been gathered over the course of their lifetime for after they've passed on, right? So it's easier for loved ones to grieve, and so they're not dealing with fighting with Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, social media, probating wills, right? And it can be really
that's the issue I've been thinking about. You know, we get a lot of people and we read a lot of articles about someone dies, and then they got their pictures on Facebook, they've got their friend connections on Facebook, they've got a lot of data there. They might have data on LinkedIn. Maybe they want to sell that business, and the business owner has customer contacts and other things on LinkedIn. And then, of course, they might have stuff on other social media platforms too. And right now, basically, you've got to go into each social media platform, play by their rules, get access to the account, and it's become a mess. And one of the hopes of blockchain is that we can get this better organized and centralized to where it's less stress on a family or a business transition plan for somebody.
Yeah, and it's something that the global community is actually looking at rather intensely. So I believe that it is goal 16.9 of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals for 2020 that talks about how they want to make sure, first of all, that every person on the planet has a formally recognized identification. And that's step one, right?
Right.
Because there are 1.1 billion people on the face of the earth who have no formal ID issued from their government. So what that means is they have no access to education, resources, healthcare, can't get a birth certificate, can't get a passport, can't get a bank account, right? So they're generally completely locked out of the entire global economy. And so that's sort of step one, but then we see them taking it a step further, right? So what they want to do is they want to make sure that every person on the planet not only has a formal recognized ID, but that ID be personal, right? So that it's going to be verifiable by a multitude of biometric authentication factors, that it's going to be persistent, and that it goes with them from cradle to grave, and that it's going to be portable so that they can take all of their data that they've collected with them over the course of their lifetime with them everywhere they go, so that it fits in the palm of their hand or however else it is that it's going to be accessible over the internet, and that it be private, that it be only to them. And this is the key. This is the part that I'm most passionate about, is that we make sure that the individual has complete and total control, to the exclusion of every other entity, whether it be governmental or private, out there. And so that if they want to monetize their data, like in the case of Facebook, they make their income on selling people's data, like in the Cambridge Analytica scandal, but that people have a real choice, right? So they can allow Facebook to sell their data, or they can sell their data, right? And maybe pay a user fee to Facebook. And so if we use asymmetric key encryption, and that we're able to manage the data security and privacy of the individual's data over the course of their lifetime, and then maybe they want to entrust that key to someone, maybe their mom. I'm a mom, right? So my kids can trust me with their encryption key. Maybe later they want to pass it to their spouse or to their significant other, and trust it to their attorney in case of death. And that's really how we can sort of categorize these pieces of data. Maybe they only want to give somebody access to their health records. Maybe they want to give somebody else access to their social media. And this would really streamline this process of data access management and monetization over the course of our lifetimes.
Right. And I think you gave a wonderful example when you were on that not a panel, but you spoke and you organized a group of speakers at the Florida Bar annual meeting, and you gave a wonderful example with somebody's ID. Right? How often do we hand our ID to somebody, and they just need a portion of the data, but yet they get to see everything?
Yeah.
And this happens with a lot of our health records. And again, maybe you want to compartmentalize your life, right? You want to give access to your bank accounts to one family member, and you want to pass your social media accounts on to somebody else. And we're moving to a world where these types of things will become more streamlined and more possible.
Yeah.
That's one of the great possibilities.
And for folks that are interested in learning more about it, there is this coalition or alliance, if you will. Some you could also label it a consortium, called the ID 2020 Alliance, and they have rather influential members like I think it's the Rockefeller Foundation, Microsoft, Accenture. There are these big conglomerates that are really working together to sort of create standards and protocols for the management of personal data, and they're doing this in cooperation with the United Nations. We do see that there are presently, I want to say, about 21 other blockchain companies in the ID space, including the World Food Program, and they have launched a beta test of this technology in Jordan. And so Jordan is dealing with the Syrian refugee crisis. This is present and applicable specifically to Jordan, of course, other places. But what they've done uniquely in Jordan is the World Food Program has issued a blockchain system so that when the Syrian refugees come in, so they are given an ID, right? This kind of ID that has the 4P properties that I talked about: personal, persistent, portable, private. And so when they go to participating supermarkets to spend the funds that have been allocated to them, that they are entitled to pursuant to the 1951 United Nations Refugee Convention and its 1967 refugee protocol, to that, they spend their funds, and you can actually see they do retina scans, right, to verify the identity of the refugee, and then it logs what it is that they spend. What's really cool about this is that in so doing, they're able to bypass banks, right, because they were issuing sort of like debit cards, and the banks were charging fees. And so consequently, in this one program alone in Jordan, the World Food Program is saving $150,000 a month. And they are also able to track the spending so that they can ensure that participating providers aren't taking advantage of the need and racking up prices, right? Engaging in price gouging. And then they're able to reallocate funds based upon the data analytics of what's being purchased, who's purchasing it, and see who needs what more. And it's really a better system overall.
And the issue.
Say again, because you broke up.
I said, oh yeah. So not to mention the issue of the anti-fraud and the security, right? That's been a big concern now. Is you got these third-party charges, and then there's also a concern with people defrauding the system, and a lot of that's getting fixed as we roll this technology out. That's why people should be excited about the technology and really look into the future, because we can eliminate some of the fraud, we can eliminate a lot of the costs, and it really will help deliver these government services and help people deal with death and other issues very streamlined.
Right. And so another application, speaking to your issue of fraud, is that, for folks out there, I was actually a former public defender, right? So I was a criminal defense attorney for several years. And one of the issues that is really prevalent in the country, and folks might not know about this, is food stamp fraud, right? So here in the United States of America, we have government subsidy programs to help those in need. And one way we do that is we issue food stamps that are exchangeable for food in our local grocery stores, and everybody's required to participate. This is not an opt-in kind of program. But what's happening is that we see people trading food stamps for drugs, and then consequently their children are going hungry. And so we have a lot of fraud with food stamps. And so if we were to do a similar program to what the World Food Program is doing in Jordan with the Syrian refugees, we would definitely be able to eliminate an awful lot of that.
Right. So those buyers of those food stamps, if they were getting retina scanned or some other type of biometric information, that would be blocked. So yeah, a lot of interesting possibilities there, folks. We're gonna move on. We got some other business to take care of, but want to spread the word. We'll be back again with another video. Would love your comments below. So Shawn McBride and Anessa Santos on LinkedIn. Let us know what you're thinking, what you're seeing. And if there's issues you want us to cover in the future, let us know, because we'll jump on and we'll do some videos for you.
That sounds great. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Anessa. Thanks for joining me. Talk to you soon.
Bye.